tight. And then if that moves, we know there's a problem. And this camera isn't going to catch everything, but yeah, you basically get your ear protection and your freaking eye protection and all that junk in your vacuum, and then you just grind that sucker. So who knows how much we'll be able to see on the camera. And it's going to get loud. It's going to get loud. Fans going. I got this. So here we got a new cutoff wheel, and before I keep going, I'm going to show. So my goal here isn't to completely cut through this shoulder thing. What I'm trying to do is round off the inside edge so that it's weak, and then I'm going to hit it with a hammer and a punch, hit it this way, and it's going to break off nice and clean. I'll try to show that again later. Okay, so got some material removed. Got a punch and a hammer. That's basically going to try and hit it around. There's a little lip. So I'm just going to try and hit that thing and break it off, more or less. See. Trying to see that? What we've done is we've hit it, and now this is coming apart now. Right, and the goal is to just hit that, and without getting the surface very badly, we're going to take this whole little shoulder or lip or whatever off. So what now is some of that is coming off, and we're going to press against this face once everything's removed. think that was the last piece. There we go. And so what we're left with now, is we have a nice round and clean surface that I'm going to be able to press to remove this guy. Instead of the original instructions were to just make a couple of cuts, a couple of vertical cuts or straight lines, but then you've only got, you know, less than half of this circumference that you can use to press on. And I was worried that this aluminum wasn't going to be very strong for doing that. So I have done this already on the other one, and it turned out pretty well. I'm ready to take a break from this. I've been at this for a while. And before I take a break from this, I'm going to hit it with some penetrating oil, like some PB Blaster, because I want this to come out easily. I'm going to let that sit while I go and eat food or sit somewhere that's comfortable or something. I also might open this garage to get the fumes out. Now I think this is the same setup I used last time. This is the toe arm doing the I forget if that's the inner or the outer, but anyway, it's one of it. It's the one that had the flange on it. I ground it down and took off the shoulder of it or whatever. And so this is one of the parts from the ball joint kit to catch it. And this is a 30mm socket that I bought to push it out. We'll see if this guy is a little bit large, but I'm pretty sure it worked last time. Snug. So that's reasonably well centered, I think. Nope, not centered enough. It's trying to pop out. Looks like it's centered. Yeah, I think we're coming out now. And I think we're not even damaging it. I hope we're not damaging it. I feel like this is going to pop when it finally gets loose. go. It's pretty snug. But we're out, and it was mostly undamaged. That did take a little bit of, it'll move it a little bit. So this should have been a little bit smaller if I could have found something. There we go. So it's out, and the inside looks good. Although I did get the face of the arm a little bit right there. That's not a lot. It's not perfect though. Okay, one more. The inner toe pillow ball thing. This is a 30mm socket and a 19mm socket on top. As we're getting closer, I want to make sure that we're all centered here. So that guy feels pretty centered. That one looks pretty centered. Call that pretty good. Good. I did hit this one with a little bit of penetrating oil with hopes that it'll pop out a little easier than the previous one did. Out nice and clean. This one is a Mazda part number. It calls it a pillow ball, but there's a special pillow ball for the toe link because it's smaller than the other ones. It doesn't have any sort of circlip or anything. It's just a, I don't know, it has a lot of deflection, I guess. I don't know.
Or even if he could book another one.
one's on. Nice and snug, flat, whatever. And took off a tiny bit of weight on there. Alright, one more going on. This is the toe links. We got stuff going. I'm starting it on a flat surface because I want it to not get crooked, and then I'll move it when it's partway through. I've done that for other ones and that seems to work. This thing has imitation in the middle, but it's got a lot of surface to press on. And use this to force on it. See if I can make that work. We'll need to stop it at some point because I don't have a cup underneath it, and at some point it's gonna start catching on the underside, so I need to move it to the part with the hole. But I didn't want to start it on that part with the hole because I was worried it would be harder to get it flat and started, you know, evenly. There we go. Nice and snug on that lip. It is yet another day. Doing final torques for the driver's side. So got all the stuff on, and I wrote down all the torque specs. Got my torque wrench, my digital torque wrench. And because I end up doing this so many different days at a time, I'm like checking it off when I torque it. So the only one I've torqued so far is the trailing arm on the left. And it's the upright side, so this one is torqued. But this one is not. No, wait, trailing. This one is torqued. That's torqued. That's not. So I think the ones that have to be done with the car at ride height are all the ones that are rubber bushings. So probably this one, it's got a rubber bushing in it that doesn't necessarily slide and rotate. This one, but not the pillow balls. So I'm going to torque this pillow ball before I get the hub, knuckle, upright, whatever these are called. I'm going to jack it up to ride height so that I still have clearance to move around in here. But I'm going to torque the lower control arm. There's 65. Good and tight. So then, mark that one off. So the left control arm at the hub is torqued. Put it at 65. And no thread lock. I didn't use thread locker because this is one of the ones that has a like self-tightening sort of nut, and the originals didn't seem to have any sort of thread locker on them. And this one I want to sneak up on it, so we'll start at, let's say, 55. Okay, so that's 57-ish. And this one says 64 up to 78. So I'm going to go up. I'm going to go up to 74. That's what I'm going to aim for. And who knows, maybe the camera can see the numbers. Okay, so that was 74. And we'll call that one done. Left is done. 74. No thread lock. Hopefully this info will not matter at all. But because I tried different builds, if anything weird does happen, I'm kind of trying to take a lot of notes. I hope that helps. So next I'm going to jack up the suspension upright so that the arms will be at their normal, like, loaded position. I took some measurements before I took the car off the ground for, like, the fender to the ground, the fender to the center of the wheel, the fender to the brake rotor, things that I could still measure without the tire on, without the wheel on. And then I took similar measurements now that it's at full droop. So I've got fender to the center of the wheel, to the brake rotor, blah, blah, blah. I took like 5 or 6 measurements, and then I can compare them and see that they're about, I'm using metric because it's easier than fractions of inches. So they're about 7 centimeters lower right now. So at full droop, it's about 7 centimeters different than it would be. So I need to go 7 centimeters up. Basically, I just need to get back to like 37 centimeters from the fender to the center of the wheel, or 51 centimeters to the bottom of the brake rotor, or 23 centimeters from the fender to the top of the brake rotor. Here is the part that I don't like, because this thing is off of the jack stand. jack stand is no longer holding the car up. That makes me nervous. So I'm at least going to put a tire under. I think we're probably past 60, but... So I'm not sure the camera caught all of it. I think I ran out of batteries, but everything's all torqued up with the torque wrench. And I borrowed some goop. What do they call this? Revlock race supplies. I've heard this called torque paste, where it squeezes on and it will it'll let you know if a bolt is backing off without having to guess. So I'm gonna put this on. So I don't know what I'll be able to see from outside the car, but a little bit of goop on here. Hopefully that'll do it. And then if that moves, we know there's a problem. And it is yet another day. Wheels and tires are back on. I already drove it around without recording anything, and so now I need to check to make sure that those marks are still there. There we go. So that's looking, I think that's looking good. That's looking good. Could I see these things at the racetrack without having to remove wheels and tires? And I think the answer is yes, which I appreciate. I can see it and it looks good, so hopefully the camera can see it, because that looks good. I think that's all of them, or nearly all of them.